In 1850, information moved at the speed of horses. A letter from London to New York took 2 weeks by steamship. Business deals unfolded across months. News arrived in bundles, digested slowly over morning tea. The human mind operated in a rhythm that had persisted for millennia, patient, sequential, grounded in physical presence. This wasn't romantic. It was simply how consciousness worked. You thought about one thing at a time because you had to. Distance created natural barriers that protected attention. Then came the wire. The first commercial telegraph line opened in 1844. By 1850, networks crisscrossed America and Europe. In 1858, the transatlantic cable connected continents in real time for the first time in human history. Wall Street loved it immediately. Stock prices from London arrived in minutes instead of weeks. Fortunes could be made on information asymmetry. The early adopters, bankers, commodity traders, newspaper editors experienced something humans had never felt before: the pressure of instantaneous response. Here is what they didn't notice. Their bodies were responding to a new stimulus their brains hadn't evolved to handle. Telegraph operators developed a condition doctors called glass arm repetitive strain from constant clicking. But there was something else. Operators reported headaches, insomnia, heart palpitations, and what one British physician termed telegraphic nervousness. They described feeling perpetually on edge, unable to relax even when off duty. The medical establishment dismissed it. These were just physical ailments from a new profession. Everyone assumed the human nervous system would adapt. It didn't. By the 1870s, the telegraph had rewired daily life. Newspapers shifted from weekly digests to multiple daily editions. The concept of breaking news was born. Stories could become obsolete within hours. Readers developed an appetite for constant updates. Business executives installed private telegraph lines in their homes. They prided themselves on being accessible at all hours. The phrase "always available" emerged as a badge of honor. Working late into the night, responding to messages from distant time zones, became markers of serious professionals. Telegraph operators, the original knowledge workers, began exhibiting disturbing patterns. Many developed what we now recognize as anxiety disorders. They reported feeling pursued by phantom messages even when away from the machine. Some experienced auditory hallucinations of clicking Morse code. Others developed obsessive checking behaviors, unable to stay away from the telegraph office for more than a few hours. The British Medical Journal published studies. Doctors recommended rest cures and fresh air. No one questioned the technology itself. The prevailing wisdom held that weak constitutions were the problem, not the constant connectivity. Meanwhile, something stranger was happening. Operators across different cities began forming relationships conducted entirely through telegraph wires. They developed shorthand languages, telegraphies, stripping communication down to bare fragments. Nuance disappeared. Speed became everything. These operators knew intimate details about distant colleagues they'd never met face to face, while remaining strangers to people in their own buildings. The first digital communities were emerging, and with them, the first hints of what we later call social isolation. Here's where the quiet tragedy unfolds. In the 1880s, as telegraph networks expanded globally, business leaders and policymakers faced a choice. Medical professionals were documenting the psychological toll. Operators were burning out. Families complained about absent fathers chained to their home telegraph terminals. The response wasn't to slow down, it was to speed up. Western Union and other telegraph companies invested in faster equipment. They hired efficiency experts to maximize message throughput. They created performance metrics, messages per hour, that pressured operators into mechanical precision. The companies argued that adaptation was the solution. Better training, stronger workers, more efficient systems. Newspapers doubled down on instant updates. The public, now addicted to real-time information, demanded more. Editors who suggested returning to slower, more thoughtful journalism were dismissed as obsolete. And here's the crucial part: Everyone involved believed they were making rational decisions. Speed meant competitive advantage. Connectivity meant opportunity. The telegraph represented progress, modernity, civilization itself. The idea that this technology might be fundamentally incompatible with human neurology never gained serious traction. A few philosophers and social critics raised concerns they were ignored as reactionaries afraid of progress. The decision was made implicitly through 1,000 small choices by individual actors, each pursuing reasonable goals. No villain, no conspiracy, just the logic of competition applied to human attention. By 1890, the damage patterns were clear but misinterpreted. Telegraph operators had the highest rates of nervous disorders of any profession. Many retired early with what we now call burnout. The British medical establishment documented neurasthenia, nervous exhaustion from modern life, as an epidemic. But the response was to medicalize individual workers, not examine the system. Rest cures, tonics, sanitariums. The technology continued its expansion. More subtly, the telegraph had altered human expectations permanently. The public now expected instant information. Businesses expected constant availability. The rhythm of patient, sequential thought was being replaced by fragmented, reactive patterns. The telegraph created the template for every communication technology that followed. When the telephone arrived, it inherited the telegraph's 24/7 culture. When radio emerged, it adopted the breaking news model. Each new medium amplified the pattern because the infrastructure, psychological and social, was already built. By the early 1900s, social critics noticed something odd. Despite unprecedented connectivity, people reported feeling more isolated. Despite access to global information, they felt more anxious, less grounded. The promise of the telegraph bringing humanity together had somehow produced the opposite. The technology had succeeded. It connected the world, but it had also demonstrated something darker. Human consciousness has limits. And when you exceed those limits through technology, you don't expand the mind, you fracture it. We're living in the world the telegraph built. Every anxiety we attribute to smartphones, social media, and constant connectivity, the Victorian telegraph operators felt it first. The frantic checking, the phantom notifications, the inability to be present, the replacement of deep relationships with fragmented digital contact, the sense that you're falling behind if you're not constantly updated. This isn't a problem with apps or algorithms. It's a problem with speed itself. The telegraph proved that humans aren't built for instantaneous global awareness. Our nervous systems evolved for local, sequential processing. When you force them into constant, simultaneous, worldwide response mode, something breaks. Here's what makes this history so disturbing. We've had 170 years to learn this lesson, and we've only accelerated the pattern. Every new technology promises to fix the isolation of the previous one, then creates deeper isolation by removing another layer of friction. The telegraph operators who felt pursued by phantom messages in 1880? They're us, scrolling in bed at AM, checking email on vacation, feeling vaguely guilty for being unreachable. The Victorian business executives who wore constant availability as a badge of honor. They're us answering Slack messages during dinner, proud of our responsiveness. The newspapers that trained readers to expect instant updates. They're the infinite scroll, the push notification, the breaking news alert that's forgotten in an hour. We think we're experiencing something unprecedented. We're not. We're experiencing the maturation of a system designed in the 1850s, one that consistently chooses speed over sanity, reach over depth, connectivity over presence. The Victorian telegraph operators tried to warn us. Their doctors documented it. The pattern was visible. We built on it anyway. The question facing us in 2026 isn't whether technology causes anxiety. The telegraph already answered that. The question is whether we'll make the same choice the Victorians made, treating the casualties as individual weaknesses rather than confronting the fundamental incompatibility between human consciousness and instantaneous global connectivity. So far, the evidence suggests we will. We're medicating anxiety, optimizing productivity, teaching resilience. We're doing everything except questioning the wires themselves. The Victorian internet is still running. We just upgraded the hardware.